Well, welcome to the Cincinnati Herald Influencers, a show where you share a show to share young voices. My name is Deja Mapp, and I am your host for today. We're going to talk about a talented artist by the name of Adoria Maxberry and her company, Most OutGROWing. But before we get into the show, I would like to remind everyone to go check out the CincinnatiHerald.com and also remember to tune into our Zoom and Facebook Live on the Cincinnati Herald page. So we'll look for your comments in the chat rooms. Now, without further ado, I would like to introduce Adoria Maxberry. How are you today, Adoria?
I'm great. How are you, Deja?
I'm fine. Now, without my first question I would really like to get into is while I was going over your bio, you explained your company, Most OutGROWing, is an organization dedicated to helping others grow spiritually, mentally, and creatively through art. So, when and how did you start this organization, and what inspired you?
Definitely. Well, back in 2016, my daughter had her 6th birthday party, and she said, "Mommy, I really want a paint party." So I said, "Sure," because we always used to paint together and create together. Now, mind you, during this time, I was actually in a corporate America position, managing a team of amazing people. Shout out to all of you guys. And I was like, okay, we can do the birthday party for sure. Set it up, had canvases, aprons, you name it. It was there with a beautiful spread. And all the parents were like, you need to do this in real life. It's like, okay, I hear you. But I got a job. I'm doing things already, I'll be all right. And it just kept eating away at me. And mind you, I'd been praying for purpose and direction, as I always do, but God just kept laying it on my heart, like, okay, it's time. So I decided to host another event, see how it went. That turned into me starting my LLC later that year in November, and chewing on the idea multiple times with many people. And I was given the name Most OutGROWing based off of my senior superlative, most outgoing. So my goal is to help others grow beyond expectations, the norm, through art. This is a superlative that we can all have. And that's how it got started. And from there, it's been event after event, mural after mural, working with various groups and organizations, as well as individuals in their home. And it's been an awesome ride. So 4 years in business as of November.
That's great. That's really great. Considering we, as I guess Black people, need a lot of different ways that we can still be creative, showing our artistry through different elements and different companies. So that's actually really amazing.
Thank you.
Also, you received your master's in visual arts education and your license from the University of Cincinnati College of Design, Architecture, Art, and Planning. At what point in your life did you know you had a passion for art?
I think, honestly, I've been an artist as long as I can remember. One of my favorite stories is turning my mom's house into a kiln, because I wanted to turn the Play-Doh into something hard for her. And I made a little amulet that had her birth year. And, I was trying to be creative and turn the thermostat all the way up, because I knew if I could just get it on the heat, that would make it, become like a nice solid piece of clay. Well, she wasn't so excited about that, but going like fast forward, she's like applauded my efforts. I now have a kiln, but it's been a wild ride, always drawing on church bulletins, drawing on things, creating things for people, teaching my principal how to crochet when I think I was probably 8 years old. Because that's when I learned how to crochet and got busted doing it at school. She's like, "Will you give me private lessons?" So shout out to Dr. Menifee, who trusted in me, and I taught her how to crochet. So it's been going for a long time. I just didn't know what I would do with my art. Graduating from high school, where I took studio art AP and was with a million great artists around, not a million, but a lot of great artists like Jared Jameson, who's amazing and out doing his thing. And they went on to DAP and other schools. And I was like, I don't know if I'm good enough. I let myself get in my head and then eventually realized, you know what, this is my passion. It's what I was created to do. And went back and got my master's and graduated last year. So this year, 2020, it's still 20. Is it still 2020?
Yes.
Dog. So that was this year. I graduated. It just doesn't feel like it.
That's great. That's kind of my experience. Although my major is communications, my minor is theater, and it's kind of been like ever since I was a little kid, I've always wanted to write different scripts and reenact it to my family. So art has always been a passion for me as well. Yours is more so drawing, and mine's like acting and entertainment business.
I love all of the above. It's really funny that you said that because my undergrad was actually communication arts, public relations at Xavier. So I have always loved the arts and wanted to act, and got to dabble in that a little bit this year as a voice actor. So no, I feel you all the way around, and that's something that I've always wanted to do. And so that might be phase 2. It's coming.
That's great. That actually
one too
brings up another question of who inspired you, or who was some of your inspirations, or who did you admire the most, whether it was your family members or any other artists in your community or just in general.
Goodness gracious. I mean, there are so many artists that kind of inspire you. I think from the writing side of things, it was always an inspiration to see Sharon Draper's and the Nikki Giovanni's. I loved poetry and writing and reading, all of that jazz. And my mom was a reading teacher for so long, so that's kind of always been ingrained in me. And just accompanying illustrations with the writing, I think, has always been something that I enjoyed. I always have a hard time pinpointing one amazing author, creator, artist that I love, but I'm inspired by like the Faith Ringolds of the world because I love fiber art and weaving and writing, the Annie Roofs of the world, like all the amazing people that I created the Black Lives Matter mural Cincinnati with. Phenomenal artists. So they're my primary inspiration right now. There's so many conversations that we have about art and what we're creating. So they're a large source of inspiration. Shout out to Black Art Speaks. I'm trying to think. There's the Beast Butlers, you name it. Karen Linzer, my old art teacher at Woodford, amazing woman that, helped foster my love of art starting early on. Miss Smith at Walnut. She was one of my art teachers. So there's a lot of individuals that kind of help play into who I am and who I want to be as an artist. And even my aunt, she was always super artsy with Christmas gifts, everything, you name it. She did it. So I think my Aunt Beverly Butcham, she kind of helped inspired me to. I'm trying to think. My mom and my dad, they both encouraged me to just go for it, whatever it was. Both my brother and I, they always said, like, chase after your dreams. So I think they were really big inspirations as far as letting us be creative and explore. And
That's great. That actually reminds me of when I was a little girl. I used to just like run down like, oh, you're going to get cast in my play. You're going to get cast in my play. Just having, I guess, that support system to keep you going and to keep you inspired. It's really a blessing. So that's really great that you have a lot of people around you that inspired you, especially your parents. Considering you worked on, as you said, you worked on the Black Lives Matter mural. I know this was like, since we've went through COVID and then we're still dealing with injustices and around the world, period. What was your reaction when you was offered to work on this inspiring but yet impactful project for downtown Cincinnati?
Honestly, my husband and I had talked about it like a couple of days before, and it was kind of crazy, like this vision casting conversation where he's like, if there's a Cincinnati mural, you need to be on that. I'm like, well, Noted. Written that down as something I would love to do, but I'll let you know. Like, obviously I would love to do that. And I had a friend reach out to me, say, would you be interested on this? I'm like, would I? So soon I found myself on a call with another group of artists, and we're talking about, okay, how we're going to do this and executing it. The next day, there's an even larger group of artists, and it was like, okay, so we need a draft by this evening. We need you to have it fully rendered and color graphically by Tuesday, and we're going to be putting it down on the ground on Wednesday. So it was like, I'm like, this is amazing. So I'm not gonna lie to you, it was definitely a rapid, exciting experience that just encouraged me as an artist. And I think so many of the other artists that also were able to take part, but my students being able to say, hey guys, like, you can do amazing things. And here's just a small example. One is kind of like our presenting our love for each other and the city through art. So
did you ever, I guess after working with the piece and you meeting a bunch of different artists, did you collaborate with any of them or anything else, or I guess keep in contact with them after working on the Black Lives Matter mural?
Sure did. So we are all part of a group called Black Art Speaks, and we have had several meetings afterwards and talked about like things that we're doing. And because I make apparel, which like the shirt that I'm wearing, custom tie-dye, but one of the other things are just like shirts and custom apparel. One of my really good friends with the mural, and he was the letter L, Michael Copage, he reached out to me to make shirts for an exhibit that he had coming up, which was the Black Box exhibit that was at the CAC. So his shirts are actually on my website right now, and we've collaborated to bring apparel needs forward. I've also worked with several other artists like Tasha Cox. She was the letter E in Lives. I'm picturing it in my mind. Tasha and that. So we've collaborated on several things, including the Ohio the OAEA, the Ohio Art Education Association. We did a conference and we're speakers on becoming a Black art educator, along with one of our professors, Dr. Flavia Bastos. So that was really neat. And we've put a proposal out there for another event, but we're working on a few pieces and writing together. And then trying to think, a lot of us just like have conversations and share things that are going on. And Brent did an event to honor my mom who recently passed, and invited everybody else. So thank you. I appreciate that. But it was just like, we're a family. And I don't know, it's a great group of people.
That's great. Now, considering the Black Lives Matter mural was a huge project to work on, do you have like your ultimate dream project that you've always wanted to work on or collab with?
Ooh, a dream project. I know that ultimately I see my arts organization having its own location that has multiple levels. I see this crazy building that the interior looks like a tree, and each different classroom host a different form of arts. So not just visual arts, but everything from music to drama to dance to like, you name it. I want you to be able to experience that. So that would be one of the ultimate projects, is having that location established, and then creating multiple locations around where people are able to experience wide scale the arts in a different way and explore. So that's one of the ultimate goals. As far as collaborations go, I mean, it'd be amazing to meet with some famous people out there, and continue to just work with my students. Like, that makes my heart leap. So if you wanna, cast me to act in something, y'all too. I mean, that's also one of those goals that's out there.
That's great. That's amazing. I know my niece's birthday, you was actually there, and they was able to paint on canvases. And so that was kind of my first time like experiencing your art. How do you did, first of all, you did so well with all of the children. It was basically babies there and first time painting, and I know they was getting frustrated, but you did amazing with them. How do you continue to keep your students, because I know you're a visual arts teacher in Cincinnati Public as well, how do you continue to keep your students motivated and to keep them also creative without them getting frustrated or giving up?
That's a great question. I think I remind them that I was that student, that I was exactly where they are. And I always keep, I'm looking around my workshop now to see if I have any nearby. I think I have to run into the other room, but I always keep, right in front of me, pieces of my old art to show them like where I started and how it looked when I drew somebody's face and where I've gone from. And even my own children, they get frustrated. So I think just reminding them patience and showing them the progression through continuing to work and to practice and to hone your craft, which I'm still doing even right now. So I remind them that art is the freedom to just, make mistakes and to do amazing things through those mistakes and see what those become, because there are no mistakes essentially in art. I mean, there are faux pas by all means, like things you don't do as an artist, but explore and encouraging that play and that exploration is what helps their little minds grow. So I think that's how I keep them encouraged and show them the mistakes that I've made, even during paint workshops with adults that are super critical, which sometimes it's really hard to kind of let go and relax. And that's the whole point of what we do. So I'll show them where I actually made a mistake right here. Look, here's how I covered it up. And guess what? It's okay. So yeah, just remind them it's okay.
Yes, because I know as a child, when I was in art class, I did not enjoy it at all. It was just, I was not a good drawer, and everything that we would do, I would always mess up on. So it was like, I cannot stand art. But the fact that you tell your students to just, it's okay to make mistakes. I think that would have been beneficial if I had a teacher that told me it's okay to make mistakes, because considering I'm such a stickler on myself, it's like, I don't want to make mistakes, but that's good that you take. Yes.
I'm the same way.
Also, well, you said that your children also does art. How did they get into art? Was it just watching you, or it was just kind of like, instant passion, I guess?
Well, so as a mom of 3 now, I wind up making sure that like whatever I'm doing, my kids get that experience. That's the experience that I had with my mom, which is probably why I felt natural in teaching, because I was there watching her as she taught her students. I was there like watching her grade papers and do all that stuff. So I allowed them to see the process, see how I make things, see how I create. And from birth, all of them were there with me creating. So my oldest, we would get canvas, and I have canvases where she's just got handprints and smushy art all over everything. I have coasters where we would always make gifts for everyone for Christmas. So we've got her little handprints on coasters, and it was just always something that was integrated into our everyday life, because I have that, wait a second, that costs how much? I can make that. Like, I'm that person. So they always saw mommy like creating things and painting on walls and doing crazy things. So now that's what they do. And on my YouTube channel, which only has a few videos out there, you'll see my young assistants walking through some directed drawing exercises, and they are just, I mean, little perfectionists. Like, it can be hard teaching my own kids, but my youngest is the one who has gone to classes with me and was strapped in the Moby wrap, and now she thinks she can do any and everything, literally.
That's adorable. Since we are at home and we are quarantined, are you still doing your visual arts classes through Zoom? And if so, how are you keeping them, I guess, focused on a computer?
So yes, since Cincinnati Public Schools has gone remote, I actually started 1 week in the classroom, and now I've gone remote. And then also with Most OutGROWing, my company, I've done a few virtual paint parties. So I can either send you the supplies in a nice little package, or which they can be purchased on my website. I've also sold canvases where I've outlined the drawing and then walked people through it. But I also have had students purchase their own supplies, and then I'm merely there to instruct. And so for a couple of hours, we start talking, and I have my canvas and my easel set up over here, and I'm like walking you through how to do things. So it's interesting in the school setting, supplying them with the materials and making sure you have your baggie with your tissue paper cutouts and glue at home, and those materials that you would generally have readily available at school, I'm now sending home and making sure the students have what they need. So coming out of pocket, doing a little fun stuff to make sure that they still get to experience art and the way they should be experiencing it. Just
that's amazing.
Using that creative mind.
That's great. That's really amazing. Well, I guess this brings me to my last question. Is it anything that you still professionally want to accomplish? I know you said you still want to expand your organization, but is there anything else that you still want to professionally do?
Yes, there's so many things. I have little notebooks. You can't really see them, but I'm pointing to. I have notebooks with crazy dreams on them. So I believe in writing down your vision and making it plain, and like allowing God to kind of direct your path. But I still would love to act. I know that sounds crazy as far as a personal professional goal, because doing voice acting for the Books Alive for Kids Learning Through Art series with Kathy Wade, and being Paige the owl, the puppet, is really fun. Enjoying that. I've been in movies singing as a background person, and that was pretty cool. It was a Tyler Perry or a movie that he was in. Didn't even get seen fully, but you can hear my soprano voice in the background. But just being able to expand on that side of things would be really fun. And then I'd like to put more murals out there, like get a nice big wall and just go crazy on it, Adoria style, just colorful everywhere until the city is painted. Like I want to go city by city, state by state, and globally just take over the world, creating a beautiful place, and sharing that love that I have for people and for life through art. So that's the goal. If you got a wall and you need it painted, holler at me.
Yes, I might have to.
And when you write that big script and you need somebody, like I can look young.
Yeah, I would definitely call you like, Adoria.
But I also have a great old lady, baby. So just let me know, okay?
Yes.
Yeah, I think those are the goals. But also just, securing just a great legacy for my children is ultimately the goal, and for my children's children. Like that's what I want to do. And just
that's amazing.
Bring joy.
Well, I am going to try to share your screen so that we can show, or share my screen so that we can show show your website.
Awesome.
Can you see this?
Not yet. It's still thinking on my end, but if people are looking, I know they can go to www.growing.com and see some of my artwork. There's also a cool shop where you can purchase personalized apparel and gifts, things of that nature. And by all means, you can check me out on my Facebook page, which will link you directly to those, or on Instagram. By all means, I try to keep up with communication and all my socials. I tweet a few things, but I am not on Twitter as much as I could be. But I do have the tag Most OutGROWing on all of those handles. So by all means, feel free to reach out to me and love to chat.
Yes, because for some reason it is not showing. But yeah, she did drop her socials, and she also said what business or what website the business is on. So if you would like to make donations of any of that sort, please do.
Yes,
Well,
I definitely appreciate that.
Oh, what was you saying?
No, I was saying I definitely appreciate that. I just did an Amazon list on my personal page for my classroom because, like I said, I just started as a full-time art teacher at a Cincinnati public school, and am trying to build my classroom library and build the supplies that I'm getting for my little people. So if you would like to donate, you can go to mostoutgrowing.com and donate there. Our paypal.me/Mrs. Maxberry, MRS Maxberry. I appreciate your donations. I really do.
Yes, please. Everyone go donate. She is an amazing artist. I know firsthand. So please go donate. Well, this concludes our show. I would like to thank Adoria Maxberry for being my guest today. And also a huge thank you to everyone who tuned in. Remember to tune in for the 6 p.m. show. Also remember to check out the influencers on the Herald TV YouTube channel, like the Cincinnati Herald on Facebook, and follow us at Cincy Herald on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. But thank you, everyone, and thank you, Adoria. It was a pleasure.
Thank you so much. Always a pleasure. Thank you.
Well, bye.
Yeah. So great.
Yes, I think it's still, hold on. I don't know, because mine's just loading over here. I don't know if it's still going.
No worries. Well, I can hop out, but it's been amazing. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you.